Hello?
There's a remote nearby. Use it.
You've got to be kidding me! Well, it's time. We've taken a look at the surprise hit Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo 64, and the huge step up Super Smash Bros. Melee for the GameCube. Now it's time for the big one, the be-all, end-all to the Smash Bros. Series. We conclude Smash Month with Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
Smash Mode!
Well, I guess it's now or never. Let's do this.
Considering this was supposed to be Smash Month, it's taken a while for us to put all these videos together.
Indeed.
Do you always say that when you make an entrance?
Indeed.
You do all know the new Super Smash Bros. Trailer was just released, right?
Who are you?
Oh dang, whoops. Adam, Kev, this is Brian, Adam, and Kev.
I don't need introductions. Introductions need me. Because of the huge success of Melee on the GameCube, Nintendo insisted on another Super Smash Bros. Game for the new console, the Wii. Sakurai and HAL Laboratories, Sakurai actually leaving HAL Laboratories a bit beforehand, were surprised and weren't necessarily for the project. It was from the insistence of Nintendo president Satoru Iwata that kept Sakurai to develop the next Smash Bros. Game. Using the development tools from Melee provided by HAL Laboratories, Super Smash Bros. Brawl was developed from just over 100 people and was announced on May 10, 2006.
I've gotta say, the hype for this game was immense. Aside from the fact that it was another Smash Bros. Game, no doubt a good factor to myself buying a Nintendo Wii, it was a game that promised online gameplay and a much more immersing story. Starting on May 22, 2007, daily updates about the game were posted on SmashBrothers.com. That was a website I made priority to visit every day. It was pretty awesome getting one more detail day after day about the game. The fact that the site was able to keep so many updates so many days is just an early indication of how massive this game truly is.
While the game was initially targeted for a November 2007 release, Nintendo pulled a last-minute change and released in Japan in January of 2008, and in the Americas in March of 2008. Poor Kev, the game didn't come to him until late June of 2008. The wait was completely worth it though, as Super Smash Bros. Brawl was a humongous hit, more than its predecessor, and ranks as one of the greatest games of all time to this day. Essentially improving on every possible factor for Melee. This game is truly a game that anyone has to experience at least once. One thing to note, and this isn't really spoiling anything, as this part was used heavily to market the game, but Brawl was the first game in the Smash Bros. Series to incorporate third-party characters.
First off is Solid Snake, a bit of an oddball as his games really don't have any similarities to Nintendo characters, but the creator of the Metal Gear series was a huge Smash Bros fan and wanted to see his character in the games. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he was even willing to waiver the royalty charges. Snake was actually supposed to be in Melee, but due to Melee being so late in development at the time, he was saved for Brawl.
And of course, if you couldn't tell from the teaser in the last video, Sonic the Hedgehog is a playable character in Brawl. Due to monstrous demand from fans, the be-all end-all question of Mario vs. Sonic would be answered by the players in this game.
Which, by the way, Sonic sucks.
Huh? Where's that coming from?
I saw you coming. How are you both?
Good.
Give me the dagger!
Justin, did you really think you could do this video without me?
All you're going to do is complain how cheap all of the characters are.
Well, yes, this is quite true, but this video is gonna need something like that though.
With the way this is going right now, we're all going to complain at some point.
Complaining? I don't need to complain, I'll just smoke you all anyway.
Physics.
Fair enough.
Guys, we're losing track here. Anyway,
We could dive into the mechanics of the game right now, but I think it's a bit safer if we talk about Brawl's story firsthand. If you remember from the last video, the guys discussed how Super Smash Bros. Melee's Adventure Mode was a nice step up from practically nothing, but this game expands it much more. The Adventure Mode in this game is a fleshed out story called the Subspace
Emissary.
In this game mode, you'll travel through various levels, meeting and playing as all the characters in the game's roster. This game mode can also be used to unlock all of the characters in the game, which is honestly the easiest way to do it. I could elaborate more, but let's just talk about the story. Two things to note as well. First, we will be revealing all the playable characters in the game. If you don't want to know who they are, we suggest picking the game up for yourself and playing it. Also, there will be a full story spoilers as well, so if you don't care about the characters but don't want the story ruined, skip this part of the video.
A match is held between Mario and Kirby, viewed by Peach and Zelda along with thousands of spectators. How they managed to get in that floating arena, I'll never know. Mario and Kirby statues arrive on the battleground, transforming into combatants ready for a showdown where the control is given to the player. Who will you fight as? Mario or Kirby? To be honest, they both suck. It really doesn't matter either way. Pit keenly watches the fight. The loser turns back into their trophy, but is returned to normal by the victor as the crowd cheers, and everyone seems to be having a good time. But then, Meta Knight's halberd appears, and from the sky drop purple fuzzy stuff. And magically, an army appears, causing Zelda and Peach to join in the action. Once you've wiped out the horde, the fun is just beginning with the arrival of the Ancient Minister, a mysterious character who is somehow able to defy the laws of gravity, carrying a bomb. The bomb is activated and the countdown begins. I never understood why every bomb ever has a countdown on it, so you know exactly when it's going to explode. But I digress. Suddenly, a familiar creature arrives.
It's Kirby versus Petey Piranha, and all you have to do is break open a cage, saving one of the princesses. Though with how much the cages are being thrashed about, I'm surprised they don't get turned into a pulp. Either way, I always save Zelda purely because Peach is kinda lame. Once Petey is defeated, however, he somehow explodes. Then Wario appears with a funky looking gun, shoots whichever princess you didn't save, turning her into a statue. He leaves with the statue, but when Kirby and Zelda, in this case, try to follow, the bomb goes BOOM! There he is dragged into a dark void, later to be known as Subspace. Kirby and Zelda escape on Kirby's star thing, and all those spectators... Actually, what happened to all those spectators? Did they escape? Are they trapped in subspace like the Twilight Realm? Did they die? What? We never actually find out. We may have just witnessed the mass slaughter of hundreds of thousands of people. But at least Kirby and Zelda survived, so let's focus on them.
We then join everyone's favorite ape, Donkey Kong, who has just had all of his bananas stolen. Again. So he teams up with Diddy Kong. Again. To get them back, battling their way through baddies, but this time things take a turn for the worse when a legendary Pokemon turns up again. Wait, never mind. At this point, you probably expect Pikachu, Lucario, or maybe the Pokemon trainer to turn up, right? Wrong. Fox McCloud arrives and the fight ensues. Though the cinematic after is pretty funny, it's what happens when Falco joins them that I find particularly hilarious. This is pretty much how things continue on, going from area to area with different characters from the game. Next is Ness and Lucas, and after defeating Porky, Wario turns up again and turns Ness into a trophy. He takes the trophy and Lucas runs into the Pokemon trainer, but rather than stick with them, we join more Robs in another subspace bomb which goes off near Marth's castle. Ike is nowhere to be seen, so Marth goes on alone and defends the castle until teaming up with Meta Knight. One of the things you may have noticed so far is that the characters aren't teamed up with the characters from their own franchise. So far, Diddy Kong is teamed up with Fox, Mario, and Pit, Lucas with the Pokemon trainer, and now Marth and Meta Knight. You'd kinda think Pokemon Trainer would team up with other Pokemon, but while Zero Suit Samus is searching for her Barrier suit, she finds Pikachu trapped in a cage being drained of energy. My guess is to power the area. So she breaks him out and they team up. Once she has her Barrier suit back, her old friend Ridley turns up and drags her along a wall. Luckily, Pikachu is on hand to help out and the fight ensues. It's not a particularly difficult battle, and you'll probably find yourself doing the same combo over and over again because it's the most effective way of dealing with him.
One of the weird things about this is that even though none of the characters speak, their individual personality still shines through. Let's look at when Snake is found by Lucario and Meta Knight. Even though no one speaks, you can still tell what they're thinking, and it happens regularly throughout the game. Progressing through the game, Ganondorf appears to be the one behind everything and the Ancient Minister is just a puppet. When a large group of Robs head for more subspace bombs, the Ancient Minister tries to stop them only for the Robs to turn on him in a surprisingly sad scene. The Minister reveals himself to be a Rob.
Rob!
What the?
It's an inside joke.
Sorry guys, I just get really excited when I see Rob. He's like the best character in the game, so...
Dude, you alright?
Oh, sorry, kind of fell asleep there due to the fact no one cares. Anyway, just as they're trying to make their escape, guess who turns up? Meta Ridley. This boss fight, to me at least, is much harder than the previous one. Though you can still use the same combo over and over again, he has a much larger variety of moves, so you'll need to pay much more attention in order to fight him effectively.
Eventually, most of the characters find their way to Ganondorf's lair, only to find that Ganondorf, also a puppet serving Master Hand, who ends up being a puppet of Taboo. I'm not sure whether this whole puppet thing was done as a bit of irony or because they were running out of ideas. Anyhow, Taboo is pretty awesome. He sends a shockwave that turns all the characters present into statues. It's then up to the few characters who weren't present thanks to King Dedede, then to find as many of the trophies as possible in preparation for the final battle with Taboo, but before you can fight him, you have to find your way through the Great Maze. Many subspace bombs were set off during the course of the game, sending the areas into subspace, and you now have to traverse the areas and battle for dark form of the characters and refight all the bosses in order to clear the final encounter.
Ooh, I hate that part!
Now I know what you're thinking, why haven't I shown any footage of everyone's favourite blue hedgehog? Sonic is an iconic character, loads of people were ecstatic about him being in Brawl, right Justin? I bet you Sonic fans couldn't wait to be running around the Subspace Emissary as a blue blur, right? Well, Nintendo gives Sonic fans a bit of a kick in the blue balls by having him show up right at the last minute. As in, right at the last minute. As in, he shows up, you select your characters, and the fight against Taboo begins. Gutted.
This is where finding the statues was important, because you can only select characters whose trophy you found. You get a total of 6 characters, so you should be just fine. There are a total of 10 bosses in the game, and Taboo can easily rank as the best. He has some awesome moves, and even on low settings, he's a pain to kill. Difficulties go easy, normal, hard, very hard, and intense, and I did the game on normal, so maybe I just suck. A lot of Taboo's moves are easily dodged if you know what to look for, what to do, and how to time it properly, but the window of opportunity to dodge him is quite small, and a lot of the moves have large knockback, so it doesn't take much before you end up suffering from a minor case of death. But eventually you'll lay the smackdown and Taboo will be no more, only to have the game conclude with the theme song of the game, and all the characters are watching. A bit anticlimactic, but the theme to Brawl is still a nice tune.
The Subspace Emissary is quite a fantastic campaign mode for the Smash Bros. Series. While the argument can be made that it feels a bit too repetitive with the constant bashing of enemies, the game varies it up a bit with various level puzzles, boss fights, and characters' game callbacks. Perhaps the coolest example I can think of is playing through the initial levels with Donkey and Diddy Kong. The barrel blasting and platforming feels like playing the SNES Donkey Kong games, and that, of course, is awesome. Musically, the diverse level songs complement the environments quite well, and the overall level design it's a bit standard, but it's not designated to be anything fancy, as it's flooded with characters to fight. The foot soldiers you fight are all interesting, whether it's being borrowed from the game franchises or strange creatures such as the fake stag beetle. In terms of a story, it's pretty standard, but for characters being completely mute and relying solely on expressions, it actually works quite well.
Gameplay for Super Smash Bros. Brawl is pretty much exactly the same as Super Smash Bros. Melee. That is, if you're using the GameCube controller setup. Yep, that's right, Brawl gives you 4 different control methods. You can use the Wiimote and the Nunchuck, the Wiimote alone, the classic controller, or the GameCube controller. The GameCube controller just seems to make the most sense to use, as it's a seamless transition from Melee, but if you really want to give yourself a challenge, I'd try the Wiimote alone.
Aside from the adventure mode, Brawl continues Melee's trend and gives the players classic mode, all-star mode, event mode, multi-man melee mode, home run contest, and break the targets. Race to the finish and the trophy grabbing minigame are gone this time around, and honestly, they're really not missed. Perhaps maybe race to the finish, but barely. Break the targets this time around isn't customized around each character, but rather is the same stage with various difficulty levels. This requires the player to be creative with each character to get a good time. Home run contest is exactly the same as Melee's, so yeah, nothing new here. Multi-man melee adds a bit of creativity this time around, not giving you wireframes or polygons, but giving you alloy characters with each gimmick. It spices up the multi-man melee a bit, so it works. The event mode is on the same vine as Melee, offering gimmicks to each event as well as certain events to challenge the player. As for the single player and all-star mode, it's again very similar to Melee. Modes like this really can't be expanded upon, so again, they're fine as is. There's also a new mode called Boss Rush mode, which is similar to the All-Star mode, but you're going to tackle all the bosses from the Adventure mode. Doing this on the hardest difficulty can be, well, difficult. If you couldn't already guess, the single player of this game is a vast improvement from the last game, and just a single player game experience overall. It's a good reason to invest in the game. Could it be more refined? Of course, but Brawl plays it safe and smart with the Subspace campaign, and it succeeds.
The game wouldn't be a Smash Bros. Game without the multiplayer aspect though, and the multiplayer portion is massive. Certain aspects from Melee such as the special Melee and more return, even the tournament mode returns.
Whoa, wait a minute. What tournament mode?
You know, we covered in the last video.
Nope, we sure didn't.
Dang it! Oh well. Simply put, the tournament mode allows the game to be set up like a tournament, having players pick characters they want and have settings for the tournament. This works really well in actual game tournaments, but can also be fun for parties.
The biggest gimmick to Brawl's multiplayer though is the new Final Smash feature. Randomly during a match, a glowing sphere will start flying around the arena. After taking enough damage, it will eventually break, causing the character that broke it to glow. Pressing the standard special move button will then execute the Final Smash. These moves can drastically turn the tide of the game, as they're really overpowered, though they're meant to be that way. Final Smashes can include Sonic transforming into Super Sonic, Fox Falco and Wolf calling in their Landmasters, Mask delivering a powerful strike, and Jigglypuff blowing up into a balloon. Yeah, some of these can actually be quite useful, some won't. Either way, they're a marvellous addition, but it makes sense as to why this feature is banned from tournament play. At least if you'd rather not have them, you can always turn them off.
The levels in this game borrow the same idea from Melee, with consistently changing levels, and this time around, they really can change. Touring Isle Delfino, going 2D in Electroplankton, being victims of DS sketches, and breaking down Luigi's Mansion are all examples of how these stages will change on you. Stationary levels return as well, but they won't be, well, entirely stationary. New Pork City is an enormous level, but will still have some falling platforms and enemies who will try to stop you. As an added bonus, there are also a few select Melee stages to play, A nice callback, if you will.
Back in the Melee video, we mentioned how the trophies were a nice addition, but really didn't add enough to the game. Well, trophies return in Brawl, but this time around, they surprisingly have much more value. Trophies can be unlocked by completing the single-player mode and All-Star mode for their respective characters, but can also be unlocked from finding trophies around the Subspace Emissary or any other type of event. They also can be obtained by playing the Trophy Shootout game, which can surprisingly be quite addicting. The game is in a similar vein of the classic Asteroids game, and spends the coins you earn throughout the game. To earn trophies of enemies from the Adventure mode, you'll need to combo the Trophy Stand item with a weakened Foot Soldier. Think of it like playing a Pokemon game.
Aside from trophies, there are also stickers. Stickers can be found practically anywhere as well, and while the stickers are simply stock art of various characters and items, they actually provide some use. In combination with the character's respective trophy, the stickers can actually boost the stats of a character to be used in the Subspace Emissary. Depending on the right sticker combos, this can be very useful whilst playing the single player. The final collectible items scattered throughout the game are CDs. Whenever a CD is picked up, a new track is unlocked. A bit of explanation on this though is in order. Brawl has a new feature to have multiple songs be available to play on a stage, and also having the player control how often certain songs are played. I'm not gonna lie, having so many options at Sonic's Green Hill Zone level was pretty awesome.
Including the extra mode as well are the challenges. The challenges contain special unlockable items that can be obtained by doing certain things, such as beating the game on a certain difficulty, playing the game a certain amount of hours, and more. Most of the prizes are trophies, but the occasional sticker, song are thrown in there as well. For the challenges that are too difficult, a golden hammer is available to assist you, which can break open the harder ones. But sometimes a hammer won't work at all. Not cool. But speaking of cool, something that is cool in this new game is the custom stage builder. Yep, you heard me right. In Brawl, you can build your own stages to play in multiplayer and for a while share online. The tools you are given are pretty limited, but nonetheless can lead to some fun design choices. I always got a kick out of trying to recreate N64 levels.
Finally, there are two more special modes. One called Chronology, which simply put is, well, a chronology. It lists release dates of various Nintendo games. It's one of those one and done things, but it's still nice. Finally, there are the Masterpieces, which are demos of some of the characters' respective games, so you can play a bit of Zelda Ocarina of Time or part of Super Metroid. It's a shame the actual games aren't included because the legitimate games are there. It's pretty incredible. Guess it was to sell more on the Wii marketplace.
As stated in the last video, it's time now to get into the topic of the physics. Oh boy, here we go. As stated in the first Super Smash Bros game, the physics were a bit too floaty. In Melee, we stated that they were too gravity focused, and in this game, there's an honest balance between the both of them. To me, this works better, and the game feels completely natural to play. If there were any changes that I wasn't satisfied with, it was the random tripping added. That's correct, if a character takes too many steps, they'll randomly trip and fall. This can get tiresome, and was honestly an annoying addition. But for all of you fans of the physics for Melee and hating the tripping in Brawl, there's Project M.
This is a free-to-download program that you can insert on a Wii SD memory card. When going into the custom stages, this boots up a new version of Brawl that contains the said fixes, as well as a few other bonuses. Try it out for yourself sometime. In the end, the physics discussion is very well up in the air. If you prefer Melees, use Project M or play Melee. Me? I'll just stick with Brawl. I'm fine with the physics just the way they are.
Alright, enough about the stupid physics. There's something we really need to talk about. Who's the best character?
Obviously, it's Sonic.
You'll never hit me with that punch! The best character is Pit!
That cheap character? It takes real skill to use somebody like Lucario.
That Mewtwo ripoff, I'm sure he is a good character, but he's nowhere near as awesome as Link.
Well, Samus could wipe the floor with any of those characters that you mentioned. Samus
How can you
has
not
a
appreciate
ride
the
and
awesomeness
being
of Link? He's got everything.
Come on,
Not
wait,
very
wait,
decent
wait,
lady,
what about
not that
Pit?
really. What more could you
And
want in a
Sonic
character
Ball
with
Ball?
ideas
Yes,
build up their
he is
brain?
the
You
cheapest
know
of them all.
what?
He sucks.
We can sit here, debate, yell, argue, but it's not going to get us anywhere. So let's just be civil about this and say that obviously the answer's Meta Knight. Agreed?
Yeah, I have to agree there.
Whatever.
It was always assumed that because the creator of Kirby made the Smash Bros games, that perhaps he overbalanced his own creations. It's very apparent in this game, as Meta Knight set a record as being the first Super Smash Bros character that has been banned from tournament play. Besides powerful swift moves, he essentially can gain infinite airtime and can take a good beating before ringing out. A player, though, like with any other character, will have to understand how the character performs in order to succeed.
Another final thing to note are some strange findings that various people have come across. I'm of course referring to some files found on Brawl's disk. Characters missing from the roster such as Mewtwo, Pichu, and Roy are still actually contained on Brawl's games disk. My question is, why weren't they included in the game? Okay, sure, Dr. Mario and Pichu weren't really fantastic characters, but that still doesn't excuse Mewtwo and Roy, especially Roy. Characters like these were missing, and hopefully they will return to the Smash Bros universe one day.
Wrapping up the game, Super Smash Bros Brawl is perhaps the epitome of true fighting video game, as well as just a fantastic Nintendo game. From starting as such a simple game on the N64 and expanding to, this on Nintendo Wii, it was quite incredible to experience this game to see how it operated.
Whether it was the immersive storyline, the exciting multiplayer, the useful additions, or the extreme attention to detail, this game has aged well and has tons of replayability.
Kevin and I still occasionally go on the Wi-Fi feature to play each other online. Though the change in physics might not please everyone, for me, it works perfectly. Brawl is my 5th favorite game of all time, and rightfully so. 2013 marks Brawl's 5-year anniversary of its release, and a rightful time to do a Smash Month, huh? There's bound to be more Smash Bros. Games coming our way soon, but I mean, this is just too great. Super Smash Bros. Brawl gets a 10 out of 10. Thanks for checking out the Smash Month videos. We put a lot of time into these and hope you enjoyed them as much as we enjoyed making them.
May the legacy of Super Smash Bros. Continue, and may we all look forward to the new title coming on the Wii U.
Which, by the way, what's up with the Animal Crossing character? Hell, they might as well just put a bush from Mario Brothers in there.
I think the real question is, what was up with the Wii Fitness trainer?
Guess we'll just have to wait and find out, but for now, from all of us here at SupeReal Productions, have a good night and we'll see you soon.